here today is cooking out of 4,000-year-old soapstone cooking bowls. These are 4 to 6,000 years old. This is the technique how the Cherokee were cooking in the southeast area. Okay, these, if you look over here, you'll see a preform. You'll see a rock outcrop right here with a preform of these soapstone boulders right over here in the chain link area. They were chiseling those bowls with this tool right here. It's called a celt, C-E-L-T. This is what they were using to chisel the bowl with and preform it on the boulder, and then they would bring it and finish it out like this bowl right here is done. These are all authentic bowls that were found in our area. Most of these that's here at the fire today were like this right here, what I call a blank. They were preformed, they were cut off the rock, but they were never finished. So this group right here that I have found through the years, I went ahead and finished these out because I've always heard about how they cooked and used them, and I wanted to learn myself. So I finished these out. They were blanks like this rock right here. I finished them out and started doing this 10 years ago, showing this demonstration here at the Hagood Mill to teach people the way they were cooking. Okay, soapstone is a very thermal rock. What I mean by that, this side right here that's in the fire, this outer ring right here is just as hot as this. It's thermal all the way through. So all this is an ancient crock pot. That's sitting there. You want to slow cook on the coals. It's just an ancient crock pot. Now people ask me what these cooking stones, what these are with the holes in it down here. When I was a child, when I was with my dad artifact hunting, I would find these things up and down the Savannah River, and Dad always said they were net weights, what they would use for weights on a net, casting their net, which it could have been for that too. I think it's a multi-purpose tool. But as I got older and done some studying and stuff, I learned that those were cooking stones that they would use in their pottery. Now here's an example of pottery right here. This is actually Pottery Barn. It's not authentic pottery, so I brought it to use. Now what I'm in charge of is feeding every one of you guys. Y'all are out in the field working, doing work. So when y'all come home, I'm the guy in charge. You want a warm stew. Well, these pottery vessels were this big. It wasn't a little vessel like that. They were huge to feed a whole family. So what I was in charge of is keeping that hot all day for when you guys return back. Wasn't no microwave, wasn't no oven. I'm sure they would set them close to the fire, but you cannot keep setting that pottery, authentic pottery, on and off a hot fire, because finally it'll break. It'll explode, it'll break. So they would heat them up near the fire. And you can add these rocks to that pottery. Now I don't know if this one, because I just set these in here, but it will bring that stew, might take 2 of them. It'll bring it, it's sitting there boiling right now with just one. But that's how they would keep that stew warm at a boiling point without putting the pottery in the fire. Okay, let me add this one. You'll probably see the real effect right here. Now I'm sure they would knock them off a lot better than I did. And you just add them as needed. Look at that. Only 2 of them and we're boiling. Now I got these hens hanging here today to represent the fowl that they were cooking back then. I'm slow smoking them. Normally I got a couple of trout hanging on these little pegs here, smoking the trout, and I'm telling you, I couldn't get my hands on any this year. But the past few years I've cooked them, those trout will sit there and just cook in their own skin, and at the end of the day you can just peel that back and you don't need to add nothing. It's ready to eat. It just falls off the bone. But we've got some samples of the deer meat over here. We're gonna cook on this all day long. I got deer cube steak. I hate cube steak. When Mom used to say, hey, we're having cube steak, I ran the other way. But I would eat this all day long. And another thing about these soapstone rocks, that's like Teflon times 1,000. I mean, I can cook on that all day long and nothing will stick to it. I can cook 1,000 hamburger patties on there if I want to, and the grease just seasons it and it runs off, and you can just cook all day long. But we've got some bear meat in this one. We've got some deer meat in this one. A little bit of both in this one. You can see them sitting there cooking. You have to add water to them because, like I said, they're real hot. The more you move these coals up under them, the hotter. That's how you control your temperature. You just move that coal closer to where you want to cook. But y'all are welcome to try some samples of the deer cube steak. Just throw your sticks when you're done in the trash bag at the end. And I'm going to be cooking these chanterelle mushrooms later. They came off of this hill right here on the property. So I'll be cooking some wild mushrooms. Chanterelles. Yeah, chanterelles, yep. That's exactly right. So we'll be cooking those in about an hour or so. I don't really have a lot to cook them all day. But these hens, now if I wanted to speed up the process on smoking them, obviously I could move them closer to the fire. Same way with the trout, but I'm demonstrating for thousands of people. So just doing it slow because I have to be here all day. You don't want to get it all done at one time and pack up and leave.